Senior Football Championship final replay between the Polish Ballymahon and Clonguish. To be this team lays out as included in our official program, the review will be assisted by Suzanne and Rosanna Sandal, referee Ed Laura from the Mighty Harpers Club, and Stephen Jones from the Ross Swim Club, and fourth official Pat Corrigan from Catalan Gales. Go on.
Desi Dolan and Christy Mannion in the meantime, and Ballymahon will be hoping to get it right today.
Indeed they will, but Michael McCormick will have his homework done as well for Clonguish. I suppose what the respective managers, Michael will be hoping for a bigger performance today from Endabard and indeed John Dowd as well. Whereas I suppose Desi Dolan will be looking to Frankie to improve today, and Mark Connor. Those two players would have to up their performance big time from the last game. So whichever team raised their performance on the day will win the game today.
And indeed, last time out, Tommy Donoghue from Rathline was the match referee. This time it's Mickey Doherty, and I suppose different referees contrasting. I suppose Mickey will perhaps tend to let it go a little bit more, and that could give us a more open game of football, and perhaps the quality might improve, or certainly the game should.
Yeah, that could happen. I just don't know how Mickey's going to referee this game today. The conditions will have a huge bearing on how he referees it. Will be slippery. He could pull a lot. Maybe he's going to let it go. We'll just see.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for the moment, Dennis. Ron Navian is just about ready to be commenced by the Longford Pipe Band, and indeed any second now. The two teams huddling, one on the left, one on the right. Ballymahon on the left, Clonguish on the right. Ron Navian. Yes, indeed, Ron Naveen played out by the Longford Pipe Band. And one thing that's very noticeable this afternoon, Dennis, is that the crowd, which wasn't huge the last day and was perhaps a little bit disappointing, is very disappointing this afternoon. The weather, I suppose, suggesting that people deciding to listen to us at home instead.
Yeah, well, we hope they are listening at home. I suppose the neutrals will stay away from the game today because of the weather. You know, it is a miserable day. It's wet, it's cold, and there's a strong wind as well. So it is a miserable day for watching football. But the Harley faithfuls, the true fans of each team are out here today watching. There's about 2,500-3,000 people here, I suspect.
And the last day in the first half, Clonguish had the wind. They led by just a point at half time. This time Ballymahon will have the wind in the first half. They'll be looking to build up a lead by half time.
They surely will, but they may find that difficult enough because there is a settling down period in every game. We'll just see how it goes at the very beginning. The wind will have a huge bearing on the game, no doubt.
Referee Mick Doherty is ready to throw the ball in among the four midfielders this afternoon. We'll give you the teams very, very shortly indeed. A couple of changes on both sides, but referee Mick Doherty just checking with his four umpires and indeed the linesmen that things are ready to get underway. We're almost, in fact, we're 5 minutes behind time here in Pearse Park. The ball is thrown in and Clonguish straight away in possession. Paddy Dowd playing the ball out towards the left-hand wing where David Barden was in chase, but too much venom on that one. It's gone out over the sideline. It'll be a line ball to Ballymahon. Let's give you the teams. Clonguish in goals, Martin McHugh. Full back line, Brendan Burke, Seamus Prunty and Gerard O'Malley. Half-backs, Porrick Riley, Enda Williams and Thomas O'Malley. Midfielders, Paddy Dowd and Enda Barden. Half-forward line, Luke McGuinness, Paul Barden and David Barden. And the full forward line, David Quinn, John Dowd and Joseph O'Brien. Ballymahon have been penalised by the referee Mickey Doherty. I think the ball may have gone out over the sideline, or in any case it's going to be a free kick to Clonguish, and it'll be taken by Paul Barden. The Ballymahon team in goals, Fergal Kelly. Full back line, Gavin Dooley, Ken Lovell and Cathal Nally. Half backs, Robbie Forbes, Ken Cooney and Justin Nally. We'll come back to it in a second. Clonguish on the attack, a chance of the game's opening score. It's a very good kick. Has it gone over? In fact, still no decision from the umpire. It's gone out to the left and it's gone wide. Midfield for Ballymahon, Mark Lennon and John O'Callaghan. Half forward line, Edwin Nally, Alan Hudson and Mark Connor. And the full forward line, Noel Graham, Trevor Smullen and Frankie Dolan. So on both sides, two new corner forwards. Noel Graham coming in for Ballymahon after making a good impression the last day. And indeed for Clonguish, David Quinn starting in the corner. Enda Barden has moved to full forward for Clonguish. John Dowd, not sure where he has moved to, perhaps out to midfield. Indeed he has, and he's marking Mark Lennon in that vital sector. So obviously Enda Barden, who's been spoken to now by the referee Mickey Doherty, perhaps feeling that he has more value to Clonguish in around the edge of the square. It's a goal kick to Ballymahon when play resumes. I think it's Ken Lovell who's down and in need of attention. And Dennis, the ploy to play Enda Barden at full forward, is that would you look upon that as a good switch for Clonguish?
It's hard to know because both John Dowd is another big man as well, so there's much the same. I don't know, I just wonder will John be mobile enough for the middle of the park. It'd be interesting to see how he fares out there. Mark Lennon is starting in midfield today for Ballymahon, and he had quite a good game the last day as well, so it'd just be interesting to see how it develops. Definitely Enda is very skillful if he gets the ball, and he's a great left foot, as everybody along for those.
Paddy Dowd in possession for Clonguish. Good ball from Paddy over towards David Barden. A chance for David to turn and shoot, and that's an excellent kick from David Barden. The first score of this replay here in Pearse Park this afternoon comes with 2.5 minutes on the watch. A very good score from David Barden. He played well in the drawn game without really featuring too heavily on the score sheet, but a good score. And indeed it's Clonguish who take the lead. I thought it was David Barden who got it. Perhaps it was David Barden who got it. And it's 1 point to no score in favour of Clonguish, who have the wind behind them in this first half. The wind has died down somewhat and the rain has eased, but certainly it will favour Clonguish in the opening 30 minutes. Just 3 minutes gone. Fergal Kelly kicks out again. Not a very good kick out. Mark Lennon lets it spill. It's going to break for, I think, a Ballymahon man who has it. It's Ken Cooney, the club captain at centre half back. The ball mishandled by Robbie Forbes, but Ballymahon have it in any case, and a long clearance towards centre half forward Alan Hudson, who races over to get this one, gets it back in towards the centre. Mark Lennon goes to ground. Mickey Doherty, the referee, says play on. Ballymahon still have possession. No free given. Will there be now? The answer is no. Ken Cooney gets it up into his hands, plays a good ball over to the far side, and gets it as far as Cathal Nally. Nally inside looking for John O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan will get there for Ballymahon, but he's been fouled, and a free in for the county champions. John O'Callaghan wanted to take it quickly, but in the end has decided to leave it. He still perhaps will take it, but not as quickly as he might have liked. John O'Callaghan, the Longford County player, takes the kick. It's in towards the edge of the small square where Brendan Burke gathers possession for Clonguish and plays a good ball outside towards John Dowd, selected at full forward but playing at midfield. Poor clearance from John Dowd. It's going to be won back by Cathal Nally, and Ballymahon moving forward to most players inside the Clonguish half of the field. Here's Trevor Smullen for Ballymahon, blocked down. Good challenge over on the far side by the Clonguish cornerback Brendan Burke, who's pushed the Ballymahon man to the ground. He was awarded a free, and in the end the referee Mick Doherty, taking no nonsense from the Ballymahon players, moving the ball forward 10 metres. There's a bit of a scuffle going on there between David Barden and I think it could be the Ballymahon number 6 Ken Cooney, but in any case play will resume with a free to Clonguish, which Paul Barden has decided to take. It's too far out, much too far out to suggest he'd even dream of going for a score from here, but a chance perhaps to play a ball in towards his older and perhaps bigger brother Enda on the edge of the square for Clonguish. Mickey Doherty is coming in to have words with somebody, but in the end just waves play on and asks Paul Barden to take the free, and in towards Joseph O'Brien. The bounce beats Joseph over his head and indeed out over the end line and wide. So just 1 point on the board, and it's Clonguish who lead and indeed have settled much better, Dennis.
Yeah, they're playing much better at the moment, but the game has taken no shape yet. It's just got underway the game, and it's very poor at the moment.
Poor start, and indeed of course we had a poor game the last day, so we'll be hoping for some excitement here in Pearse Park. Just a little under 6 minutes gone in the first half, and Fergal Kelly will take this latest kick out for the Ballymahon men. 2 wides for Clonguish and 1 score. No wide and no scores for Ballymahon. Here's Luke McGuinness for Clonguish, steps inside, looks at the posts, and indeed kicks badly left and badly wide. And Clonguish, already with 4 chances of scores in this replay, have only taken 1. They lead by a point to no score. That point coming after 3 minutes, a little under it, from David Barden. That's 3 wides now for Clonguish, and Clonguish leading by just 1 point to no score. Fergal Kelly once more, certainly He's been the busier of the two goalkeepers. Ballymahon really haven't had the ball inside the Clonguish half the field at all in this replay so far. Alan Hudson plays it inside to Ken Cooney. Cooney spreading it out towards Mark Lennon. Mark Lennon, a high challenge from Paul Barden, and the referee Mickey Doherty will certainly have some sorting out to do here, as Paul Barden and Mark Lennon come to grips with each other on the surface of Pearse Park. Paul Barden is back on his feet. That high challenge perhaps could have been tickable, at least from the referee Mickey Doherty's point of view, but Mickey certainly does like to see play continue, and on this occasion he does just that. And here come Ballymahon. Mark Connor, scarcely noticeable in the drawn encounter. Connor will be looking for much better this afternoon. Trevor Smullen being pursued by the Clonguish number 7, Thomas O'Malley, plays a good ball into the centre, but it's going to be won back by David Barden, who started very well for Clonguish. Paddy Dowd takes a good shoulder from Mark Lennon. Still Paddy Dowd. The second shoulder, however, was deemed to be unfair by Mickey Doherty. A free to Clonguish, which is taken by Brendan Burke. It's not a very good one, but it could work out in Ballymahon's favour. Ballymahon with possession inside towards John O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan plays the ball quickly inside. It's Cathal Nally, the Ballymahon number 4. He played at corner forward the last day, selected at corner back this afternoon. He's now with his brother Edwin Nally, who played very well for Ballymahon in the drawn game, set up the goal for Trevor Smullen, and indeed the equalising score for John Lennon. It's a line ball to Ballymahon over on the far side. In fact, it could even be a free kick, but Frankie Dolan is going across to take this one. And if we look back at some of the missed chances in the intermediate final for Ballymore late on against the wind, there were some woeful attempts at goal, and perhaps Frankie might find it difficult against the driving wind and rain. Just floats one in towards the edge of the square. Dangerous ball, but Enda Williams does extremely well to gather the ball for Clonguish, and the men in green and white can work it out from goal. It's been an all green and white day so far in Pearse Park this afternoon, with Killashee winning the intermediate final, beating Ballymore by 1 point. Derek Steele was picked as man of the match in that intermediate final. Ballymahon have possession back at the middle of the field. Cathal Nally plays it inside towards Alan Hudson. Hudson inside once more. It's now with John O'Callaghan. Back again to Alan Hudson. Frankie Dolan plays a lovely looking ball towards Mark Lennon. Lennon, however, being brought away from goal. The ball just drifting slightly to the left of the posts, and not a scoreable opportunity for Lennon, but a chance to cross. And it's a good looking cross, and really no reaction from Luke McGuinness as Ballymahon win possession back. Edwin Nally in a position where he created Ballymahon's goal the last day, but this time unable to work his way through. Ballymahon still with possession. Good pressure from the champions. John O'Callaghan has started well in this final, but that's a poor ball from him, and Paul Barden wins it back and gets it inside towards Seamus Prunty, the full back. Enda Williams playing the ball out towards this right hand side. Brendan Burke inside to Paul Barden. Good play from Clonguish, who clear their lines with ease. Good looking ball in towards Enda Barden. Will he get there first? The answer is no, he won't, and in any case the referee Mick Doherty rightly penalises the Clonguish corner forward Joseph O'Brien for holding. Fergal Kelly takes the free kick inside towards Edwin Nally. Still with Ballymahon, Robbie Forbes, Ken Cooney. Mark Lennon loses out, but it takes a touch last off Big John Dowd, and it will be a line ball to Ballymahon. We've had 11 minutes of this game almost, and just 1 point. It's been poor stuff once more in this replayed Parkhouse Hotel final in Longford. The Sean Connolly Cup awaits the winners this afternoon. Still a point to no score in favour of Clonguish. David Barden with that score after 2.5 minutes. We have almost 11 gone, and it's still a point to no score. Martin McHugh, the Clonguish goalkeeper, coming out from his goal to take a free kick for the Clonguish men. But it's been poor and it's been scrappy, Dennis.
Very scrappy at the moment. I noticed one feature of the game is the packed defence by Clonguish. The 13 players behind inside their own 45 metre line for the last Ballymahon attack. They must be taking a leaf out of the Armagh Tyrone books at the moment, because they really are packing the defence. But it's working out well for them, and they're defending very well and look very comfortable in defence, which they didn't look last year. They look really, really comfortable. But the game hasn't taken any shape at all. It is very scrappy, as you said, Benny. Very scrappy game.
Free kick to Clonguish will be taken by Martin McHugh. And remember, Clonguish have the wind in this first half and still deciding to pull players behind the ball with the wind in the opening period. They have possession around the centre of the field. John Dowd kicks on that one, gets it inside towards Enda Barden, but good defending from Ken Lovell, the Ballymahon fullback, one of the players of the championship for Ballymahon. Inside to John O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan bounces and looks inside and finds the racing through Robbie Forbes, and Forbes loses possession and in the end challenges roughly on Paddy Dowd, and Mickey Doherty awarding a free kick to Clonguish. The free kick will be taken by Paul Barden. Wants to get it in quickly towards Joseph O'Brien, who certainly could be a match winner for Clonguish if he gets the right type of ball. This time, good defending from Gavin Dooley, who flicks the ball out over the sideline. It'll be a line ball to the Clonguish men, and Paul Barden will take it. About 21 yards out, and a chance for Clonguish to double their advantage. They need to get a few more scores before half time, but just 12 and a half minutes gone in the first half, and Clonguish have certainly been wasteful. Very well fielded inside there by David Quinn, who plays it inside towards Enda Barden. Barden gets there ahead of Ken Lovell. He's been pulled and dragged, but no free. Ballymahon have possession back. Can they work it out from goal? And in the end, perhaps an easier free awarded to Ballymahon. It's 1 point to no score in favour of Clonguish. Trevor Smullen helping out his defence, gets it inside to Alan Hudson and gets it back from Hudson into John O'Callaghan. John playing at midfield this afternoon for Ballymahon finds Trevor Smullen, who, although selected at full forward, really is the roving player on this Ballymahon team. Ballymahon messing a little bit with possession in defence. It'll be won back by Clonguish, I think, and in the end a free out has been awarded by referee Mickey Doherty, a free out to Ballymahon. And certainly this game, just like the drawn encounter 2 weeks ago, it needs something badly. Perhaps a goal from maybe Clonguish to extend their lead and see Ballymahon throw everything at them to come back at them. But at the moment, just a point between them, it's very poor stuff. Tomas O'Malley plays a good ball inside towards Enda Barden. Now Enda normally very accurate from this range, and that's a good kick from Enda Barden and a very good score from Enda Barden. We've had to wait 14 minutes for the second score, indeed 11 minutes after the first one. The Barden brothers are playing well, Dennis, and I suppose as predicted before this championship final begun, if the Bardens played well, Clonguish had every chance of winning, and that's the way they've started this afternoon.
That's for sure. That's a superb kick by Enda. Enda is very skillful. Like John Dowd would not have the skill to do that, so that's a marvellous score. The Bardens scored 9 points the last day. That was a fair contribution from them, and they are outstanding footballers for Clonguish.
Kick out from Fergal Kelly out towards the middle of the field once more. Well fielded there by Ballymahon's number 10, I think it was Edwin Nally, who played it inside towards Mark Connor. Connor getting it at the second attempt, playing it inside towards Justin Nally, back inside to Ken Cooney. Clonguish leading by 2 points to no score. Ken Cooney looking to launch one over towards Mark Lennon. He'll need to sprout wings to get to that one. So will the Ballymahon number 5, who is Robbie Forbes, but he keeps it in play. In fact, does he keep it in play? The answer is no. It's gone out over the line. It'll be a line ball to Clonguish, and Paddy Dowd, the midfielder, has gone back to take it. Good ball inside from Paddy towards Thomas O'Malley once more. Long relieving clearance from O'Malley, but it's Ballymahon who win it back in the form of Justin Nally. Nally gets it inside, and Ballymahon really working the ball well out of defence. Edwin Nally now back inside again to Justin Nally, and Justin plays it into Ken Cooney. Cooney over towards John O'Callaghan, who's got space to run at Clonguish. Racing through the centre, John O'Callaghan leaves the ball behind him, gets it up at the second attempt. Inside towards Mark Connor, who's already started better this afternoon perhaps than he showed all through the drawn match, and he's been fouled, and referee Mickey Doherty awarding the free in to Ballymahon. And this time Frankie Dolan will come across, I'm sure, more confident of putting Ballymahon back to within 1 point of Clonguish. It's a second free for Frankie. Really, I suppose he didn't go for a score the first time, just wanted to launch it in towards the edge of the square. This time he'll be looking to get Ballymahon's first score of this replay. Clonguish have been the better side so far, however only marginally in a very scrappy game, which already we've seen 16 minutes of, and it hasn't reached any great heights. So Frankie Dolan, his first real scoring opportunity. Can he open Ballymahon's account here in Pearse Park this afternoon? The two scores for Clonguish from David and from Enda Barden. Frankie looks up and kicks. It's fallen kindly for Trevor Smullen. A great save on the line. Great chance for Trevor Smullen. Great blocking from the Clonguish defence, who were sloppy in the first place to allow the chance fall to the County Star Smullen. But great block. I don't know who exactly got the block. Perhaps it was Martin McHugh. But in any case, it was a great chance for Trevor Smullen. Clonguish go on the attack. We'll get Dennis's opinion in a second. But Enda Barden at the other end of the field, meanwhile, has possession for Clonguish, 45 metres out from goal. That's a very good crossfield pass towards Joseph O'Brien, who's peeled away from his marker and now gets away from Gavin Dooley. Still Joseph O'Brien looking for support. Turns and shoots. Poor effort from Joe. And indeed, well gathered by Fergal Kelly. But that was a great goal chance. Trevor Smullen, who scored the only goal the last day, should have scored another.
Yeah, it was a great chance to get. That could be a big moment in a big game, so it'll be interesting to see how the game pans out after that. That was a big miss for Trevor. I thought he would put that one away.
It was a great chance, and Ballymahon, who have gone close to scoring a goal, have possession back. It was Joseph O'Brien who had another chance to score for Clonguish at the other end, but it's now back possession with Ballymahon. Mark Lennon, long, high, searching ball in towards the danger area. Good fielding from Noel Grehan. Grehan, who didn't start the last day, came on and was influential, and certainly has done very well on this occasion. He's been fouled about 30 to 35 metres out from goal. A similar position for Frankie Dolan. And Frankie, who has kicked 2 frees so far and hasn't scored. Certainly if he was shooting into the other goal, one might suggest he'd have a couple of scores already this afternoon. But it's Frankie to take this free. 2 points to 0 in favour of Clonguish. And Frankie Dolan, whose home club St Bridget's are playing in the Roscommon final this afternoon, has kicked that one left and he's kicked it wide. And really, Dennis, I suppose Frankie Dolan has not set this championship on fire this year. A lot expected from him from Ballymahon's point of view, and so far this afternoon he hasn't really given anything.
Yeah, but he has been very good throughout the championship from frees, and he's after missing 2 already today, which is very unusual for Frankie. So Frankie will need to settle down. Ballymahon will need to settle down. The game has gone on now. It's gone into the second quarter, and they've still to open their accounts. So it's very scrappy, as you say, the game. And we're hoping now that Ballymahon get off the mark, and the game then livens up after that.
Well, here's a chance for Ballymahon. It's Edwin Nally over on the far side who switches play. A reverse pass towards Alan Hudson. 2 points to no score in favour of Clonguish. That'll tell you the quality that we're enjoying in Pearse Park this afternoon. A foul over on the far side. Not sure who's gone down. It could be John O'Callaghan. It's not John O'Callaghan. We'll tell you very shortly who it is. But whoever it is, he took a right thud when he hit the ground. It could be Mark Connor, I think. And it's a free to Ballymahon, which once again will be taken by Frankie Dolan. We have had 20 minutes of this replay, and we've only had 2 scores. Enda Barden after 14 minutes, and the opening score after 3 minutes from David Barden, separating the sides. 2 points to no score. Dreadful day for football. A crowd perhaps in the region of maybe 2,500 people. One of the smallest crowds I've seen at a county final in Longford for many a long year. Dangerous ball in from Frankie once more. Falls kindly for Mark Connor, who shoots and scores a goal for Ballymahon. Mark Connor, a ricochet off one of the Clonguish defenders, fell kindly for the Ballymahon number 12. The former Fordney man plants it into the corner of the net. A very good finish, and maybe, Dennis, that might set this game on fire because it needed something.
Yeah, the game badly needed a goal, and that was a great finish by Mark Connor. Clonguish got off with the last one. They fumbled the last high ball that came in again, and that was another major fumble, big mistake. Mark Connor picked it up and he rifled it home. It was a fantastic finish.
It certainly was, and Ballymahon take the lead remarkably with their first score after 21 minutes. In fact, 20 minutes gone on the watch. They take the lead. It's 1 goal for Ballymahon, 2 points for Clonguish, and this game already, I suppose, running on a similar pattern to the drawn encounter 2 weeks ago, when on that occasion Clonguish were leading by a couple of points when Ballymahon got the game's only goal around the same time. But this afternoon, not Trevor Smullen the scorer, but Mark Connor, and Ballymahon leading by a point with just 9 minutes to go in the first half of this very poor game. Martin McHugh kicks out. Huge kick with the wind out towards the middle of the field. Great fielding from John Dowd, the big full forward who is playing at midfield this afternoon, wearing number 14, has been fouled. Paul Barden takes the free kick quickly in towards his brother Enda. Enda Barden looks up, and certainly that would be a wonderful score if it goes over. It's not going to go over, and it's well held inside by Gavin Dooley, who's done extremely well, and he's been fouled. It'll be a free out to Ballymahon. They want to take it quickly. Ken Cooney plays it inside towards Cathal Nally. Ken Lovell runs into the tackle presented by David Barden. Cathal Nally Over on the far side, kept in play by John O'Callaghan. Enda Williams with a long, high searching ball in towards Joseph O'Brien, who goes to ground. And I think on this occasion referee Mickey Doherty is going to have words. In fact, he perhaps will have words with Joseph O'Brien. O'Brien perhaps thought he was pulled to ground, but in any case, Doherty is going in to have words with O'Brien, and he'll be giving a free out to Ballymahon, who lead by just a point. A goal for Ballymahon, 2 points for Clonguish. We have just 8 minutes. 8 minutes to go to half time. Free to Ballymahon. Cathal Nally will take it. Paul Barden intercepts. Paul Barden for Clonguish. Still Paul Barden, good ball inside towards David Barden. Gone out off a Ballymahon defender. 45 metre kick for Clonguish. Paul Barden kicks it out towards Paddy Dowd, will take this one. Yes, indeed, and no further scores since you were last with us, John. It's a goal for Ballymahon, 2 points for Clonguish. Paddy Dowd will take a 45 metre kick for the Clonguish lads with the hope of getting them back on level terms. We just have 7 minutes to go to half time. It's one of the poorest county finals I've seen in many, many years. Indeed, the drawn game was bad. We thought this couldn't be any worse, and certainly so far it seems as if it has been. Paddy Dowd takes the kick. It's a good looking kick, and indeed it's gone over the bar. That's a very good kick from a very good player, Paddy Dowd, who certainly, I'm sure, Dennis, has impressed you in this championship.
Yeah, he's been marvellous in the championship. The Dowd brothers of midfield are doing very well. The two boys are John Dowd and Paddy Dowd are playing very well. John is after making a great catch a few minutes ago, and they've been very impressive so far. I think they're edging the midfield battle at the moment, but it's the game, it's very difficult conditions for players to play in, and that was a great kick for 45.
And indeed, Dennis, it looks like it's going to be very tight again today.
It is indeed, yeah. 3 points to a goal, and we're coming up to half time now, so it is very tight.
Goal kick for Ballymahon will be taken by Fergal Kelly. Referee Mickey Doherty having a good game so far this afternoon. Fergal Kelly kicks out. Up goes John Dowd. Bit of pushing there. It's a free to Clonguish, which Enda Barden wants to take as quickly as possible, but in the end doesn't. Joseph O'Brien peeling away to the left of goal for Clonguish. In fact, it's not Joseph O'Brien, it's David Barden who's peeled away, but the free kick still hasn't been taken. Paul Barden, he's a good bit out from goal with this one. It's a huge kick from Paul Barden. An absolutely outstanding score from Paul Barden. The score of the game so far, in fact perhaps the score of both games. He must have been 55 metres out, but the accuracy, and indeed he could have been 10 yards out further and it still would have gone over, Dennis.
Yeah, that was a great kick. Paul must have had his Weetabix this morning, because there was some power in that kick. That was an incredible score, absolutely incredible. And
it puts Clonguish back in front. They lead 4 points to a goal. They have responded well to Ballymahon's goal, which came in the 20th minute from Mark Connor. Now with 5 minutes to go to half time, Clonguish are back in front, leading by a point, 4 points to that goal. Out towards the middle of the field. Up goes John Dowd. He's got a few good touches to the ball from a Clonguish point of view in this first half, and perhaps the switch to move him to midfield has worked. Clonguish still have possession. Seamus Prunty going back to try and win it, and he's been fouled by Ken Cooney, and Mickey Doherty coming over to have words with somebody, perhaps maybe just to sort things out. It's a free to Clonguish, which Paul Barden wants to take as quickly as possible. We have just 4 minutes to go to half time, plus whatever time the referee wishes to add on for stoppages. The man down on the ground in need of attention is indeed Seamus Prunty. Of course, he will be out the field in pursuit of Trevor Smullen, who was selected at full forward, but of course, as we know, will play everywhere bar full forward perhaps for Ballymahon this afternoon. Paul Barden takes the free kick. This time, I don't believe it, he's going for a score again. It's well saved by Fergal Kelly, but it was a dangerous kick from Paul Barden. He really is something special when he gets behind the ball. That was a great effort, but it's cleared by Ballymahon, and it's cleared by their fullback Ken Lovell. And Ballymahon certainly doing well in defence. Poor clearance, however, it's gone straight out over the line, and the wind has picked up very much again here in Pearse Park this afternoon. Paul Barden, now he's on the halfway line. He'll hardly try one from here, but nothing would surprise me with this man. He's only about 10 yards further out than when he scored a few minutes ago. It's Clonguish leading by a point, 4 points to a goal, and just a little over 3 minutes to go to half time. Now the fourth official is holding up a board in front of us. There is a player going off injured. fact, it's Seamus Prunty, I do believe, who has left the field, and we're not sure who has come on. And in fact, it's Porrick Cooney, the number 19, who's come on for Clonguish. A big blow for them, losing their full back. Enda Williams does well, spreads the play over towards this near touchline, where Porrick Riley gets it, kicks it into the centre. Bad ball from him. John O'Callaghan gets it inside towards Trevor Smullen. Smullen looking for support in the centre, and again another vital interception from big John Dowd, playing at midfield with his brother Paddy. Great ball inside from John towards the danger area where Joseph O'Brien, has he been fouled? No, he's not. Back outside again. Poor effort in the finish from the Clonguish number 10, Luke McGuinness, easily gathered by Fergal Kelly. That's the second time that Clonguish have shot for scores and shot very, very weakly, especially with the wind behind them. But Ballymahon have it, work it out again. Again they give it away. Paddy Dowd tries to win it. Ballymahon have it back. Good play from the county champions, and indeed in particular Edwin Nally, who's been fouled. Free kick to Ballymahon. 4 points for Clonguish, a goal for Ballymahon, the county champions, just a point behind, and they'll have the luxury of this driving wind and rain in the second half. And indeed, if they stay this close, and one might suggest it will be pretty close at half time, then Ballymahon should be good enough to go on and win it. We thought that they were better balanced. We thought they had more strength in the vital areas with the conditions this afternoon. And indeed, just a point behind, they'll be extremely happy as we approach half-time. Paddy Dowd takes his gloves off. Perhaps that's not such a good idea for Paddy, the big midfielder, the young lad, 18 years of age, playing midfield in his first senior championship for Clonguish. Robbie Forbes, the 26-year-old bank official, playing for Ballymahon, loses possession. Clonguish have it back. Not a very good clearance, and easily dealt with there by Gavin Dooley, who has impressed me so far in this replay for Ballymahon. Push in the back on Dooley, well spotted by the referee Mickey Doherty, and it will be a free for Ballymahon. Just inside the Clonguish half of the field, Frankie Dolan going out to take it, but perhaps Clonguish could maybe elect to have Frankie closer to goal when these frees are so far out, because he's always good for a score. Here's Trevor Smullen, plays it into Frankie. Frankie's first taste of the action from play. Has he been upended? The answer is no. Referee Mickey Doherty waves play on, and Clonguish have it back. The ball dropping short to Martin McHugh, and it's now worked out towards the centre of the field. Good play from Clonguish. Luke McGuinness switches it inside to David Barden. David Barden racing at his Ballymahon opponents. Ken Cooney is out of the way, and now Robbie Forbes has been dealt with as well, but they all swarm around the Clonguish man, who tries to get it back outside towards his number 10, Luke McGuinness, and in the end very good defending from Ballymahon, and the champions work it out once more. Alan Hudson back into the centre towards I think it's Ken Cooney. Ken Cooney gets a boot on that one, but it's not a very successful one, and in the end the ball I think may go out over the sideline. In any case, even if it hasn't, referee Mick Doherty has awarded a free kick to Ballymahon. John O'Callaghan will take it. Just 42 seconds of normal time remaining in this first half. One score for Ballymahon in the first half, a goal for Mark Connor, 4 for Clonguish. Just a point between them. John O'Callaghan gets the ball back inside, trying to work it out of defence, but this time making it very difficult for themselves. Another Clonguish man goes down injured. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. It looks a nasty one, but in any case Clonguish have possession. Good ball inside, played by David Quinn, in towards the centre half forward Paul Barden. Barden races away from a couple of Ballymahon players, plays the ball in towards his brother Enda. 30 yards out from goal. Enda Barden trying to work his way into a shooting position, can't do so, and it's very, very scrappy, it's very untidy, and Ballymahon can work it out. There's the noise in the background tells you that the 30 minutes have elapsed. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Noel Grehan for Ballymahon does extremely well. Has he been fouled? Referee says no. He was looking for the free, he didn't get it, and in the end he kicks it straight back to Thomas O'Malley, and Clonguish can work it out once more. Leaving the ball behind him is Luke McGuinness, but Luke will get a second chance, and he's been fouled. We're into stoppage time. Not sure how much of that we will have, but before the first half ends, because I know we're going to Roscommon for the senior final there, let's get the views. In fact, before we get the views of Dennis, let's see what Enda Barden can do with this. He's 30 metres out from goal. He must score from here. Enda Barden looks up and shoots, and has he kicked it over? Indeed he has. Very good kick from Enda Barden, and indeed the move of John Dowd to midfield and Enda Barden to full forward has worked for Clonguish. It's almost half time, and Clonguish are 2 points in front, Dennis.
Yeah, it has worked a treat for them. They're getting the long ball in. Enda's winning it. He's kicked 2 great points so far. the respective defences are coping very well with the conditions, and they're closing down forwards, and they're closing the forwards very well. But Ballymahon are making a serious amount of unforced errors. It has not been a feature of their play up to this game, but they are giving away the ball very cheaply today, and you cannot afford to do that in the county final.
Of course, they will have the wind in the second half. They're only 2 points down. We'll come back to Dennis in a moment, because here's another chance perhaps for Clonguish to get another score before half time. A foul there on David Barden by Mark Connor. We have already moved into the second minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. A very, very poor game, but still very close and exciting. But the quality of football not good. Clonguish have a free, which Paul Barden himself will go back and take. A similar distance out from goal from where he scored a few minutes ago. That score from Paul coming about 5 minutes ago, in fact. But Paul Barden has done very little from play really for Clonguish this afternoon. But then really, who has? Well, he's going for his second score from way out the field. Again, it's a good kick. It's not going to have the distance. It's going to fall for a Ballymahon defender who clears it first time along the ground, but it doesn't go too far away from goal. It's won back by Thomas O'Malley for Clonguish. O'Malley inside towards the substitute, Porrick Cooney. Cooney working it out towards Paddy Dowd, who looks up and shoots. And has he found the range? He has indeed. It's a wonderful score from Paddy Dowd. And indeed, if we're looking for a man of the match and it's only half time, he'd certainly be one of a few that have come to the fore in the first half, Dennis.
Yeah, Clonguish are well on top, and the Dowd brothers and midfielders, who said before this, are doing very well, and they are winning that midfield battle, and that is absolutely vital today, to win the midfield battle. I'm sure now going in at half time, Desi Dolan is going to have some very harsh words for Ballymahon, because they don't seem to have the same hunger as what Clonguish have. Clonguish seem to be by far the more eager team today, and they're way up. They're more up for this game than what Ballymahon have been so far.
Yes, indeed, Dennis, and there is the half-time whistle. We'll hand quickly back to studio. 6 scores for Clonguish in the first half, just 1 for Ballymahon. I suppose the saving grace for Ballymahon is that was a goal from Mark Connor after 20 minutes. Clonguish played with the wind in the first half. Ballymahon will enjoy it in the second, but certainly they have to bridge a gap first. They trail at half-time. It's Clonguish 6 points, Ballymahon 1 goal, John. where's his on? It's on again now. Oh, here's the chance. All right.
Right now.
Now, sorry for that break in commentary. We seem to be back up and running again. A good chance for Ballymahon there, which has been spurned by Mark Connor, who got their only score of the game in the first half at 7 points for Clonguish. A goal for Ballymahon. Enda Barden has scored 3 points for Clonguish this afternoon. The other score is David Barden, also one from Paul Barden, and indeed one from Paddy Dowd. 7 points to a goal. Goal kick for Clonguish will be taken by Martin McHugh. Martin McHugh, a huge clearance from him out towards the middle of the field. It's won by Clonguish. Thomas O'Malley has been fouled and the free has been awarded and will be taken by David Barden. In towards Enda Barden, who trips with Ken Lovell, but no real malice in Lovell's challenge. Lovell gets it back, works it inside towards Robbie Forbes. Forbes, a dangerous ball towards Edwin Nally, and Nally can't keep it in play, but it does. In fact, a push in the back on Edwin Nally results in a free for Ballymahon, who badly need a score. We've 5 minutes elapsed already in the second half. And the line ball will be taken by Robbie Forbes. In towards Alan Hudson, but it's won back by Clonguish. This time perhaps a push in the back on the Clonguish man, but in the end the ball leaves the field off the Clonguish player. It'll be a line ball to Ballymahon. It'll be taken by John O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan, long, high, searching ball, very dangerous. High ball could break kindly for Noel Grehan. In the end it looked to be picked off the ground by Smullen. Yes, John. Sorry, I'm doing a commentary on a video. 7-1 goal. Yeah. No problem. Okay. Clonguish on the attack. David Barden plays it inside to John Dowd. Over on the far side towards Joe O'Brien. Joe O'Brien jinks his way. Tries to get past Gavin Dooley. In the end, it plays a very good ball into Paddy Dowd. A chance for goal. He shoots, and it's a great score from Paddy Dowd, who really has put in a huge performance for Clonguish this afternoon. Paddy Dowd getting his third point of the day, and indeed perhaps his best one. 5 points between them. 6 minutes gone in the second half. 8 points for Clonguish. A goal for Ballymahon. Referee Mickey Doherty seeking something from the sideline. Yes, just 2 scores in the second half, and both for the challengers this afternoon. Enda Barden and Paddy Dowd increasing Clongish's advantage here. 8 points to a goal, and Dennis Connerton, certainly, it must be said at this stage, Clonguish are looking good, and Ballymahon really offering little by way of a challenge against the underdogs, I suppose, this afternoon.
Ballymahon haven't got out of the blocks at all the second half yet. Clonguish are well on top. They're winning the midfield battle, as we mentioned earlier on. The 2 Dowds are outstanding at midfield, and Paddy in particular is having a great game.
Paddy has scored 3 wonderful scores for Clonguish, 2 of those from play, and one a very good pointed 45. And indeed, just before you come back to us, John, Dowd got his third point. Mickey Doherty wants play to now continue, and Fergal Kelly will take the kick out. 7 minutes gone in the second half. The kick out from Fergal is won by Ballymahon. Cathal Nally plays it in towards this near sideline to Mark Lennon. Mark Lennon being pursued by Paddy Dowd, finds Robbie Forbes in space in the centre. Good ball from Robbie into the danger man. In fact, it's Noel Grehan. I thought it was Frankie Dolan, but Noel Grehan loses possession, and Clonguish have it back. Clonguish going in search of another score. They lead by 5, and it's Paul Barden in possession for them on the halfway line. Races into a couple of Ballymahon players. There's 5 of them around him, and in the end the referee gives the free to Clonguish. There are 5 or 6 Ballymahon players not happy with the decision from the referee, Mickey Doherty, but he's moved the ball forward a further 10 metres. Paul Barden and Alan Hudson have come to blows with each other, and now Mickey Doherty will speak to Alan Hudson. The two number 11s colliding with each other, and Paul just giving Alan a pat on the back, Paul Barden, but it's a yellow card for Alan Hudson. And it's a free for Ballymahon. It's too far out against the wind to suggest he'll even attempt to score. He takes it short and quick towards his brother David, who's been fouled again surely. Referee says play on. Still David Barden back inside towards the number 10, Luke McGuinness. Not a very good ball from Luke. It should be won back by Ballymahon, and it's a free to Ballymahon, and the county champions can breathe a sigh of relief as this latest Clonguish attack is broken down. Here come Ballymahon. Good looking ball towards Mark Connor. He'll do well to keep it in play, and a little bit unfortunate because certainly he was in the clear if that ball had stayed on the pitch, but it's gone out over the sideline underneath the stand on the far side of the field, and Paddy Dowd will take this line ball. A long high kick from Paddy, which is well held by David Quinn, who switches the play inside once more towards Luke McGuinness. McGuinness back outside, I think to Enda Barden. It is indeed Enda Barden. He'll look up and he'll shoot from here. Good effort, but Fergal Kelly is equal to it. That's the third one that Clonguish have dropped into Kelly's hands this afternoon, and that'll tell you really that Clonguish should be perhaps be further in front. Here's Edwin Nally for Ballymahon. Can Ballymahon spring themselves to life in this replay? Really, we've seen nothing from them so far this afternoon, and indeed worthy county champions, but not living up to that billing this afternoon. There's a mistake, a chance for Frankie Dolan. He gets away from Brendan Burke, but in the end, too I suppose flashy from Frankie. He wanted to play in Trevor Smullen, but in the end a poor decision by Dolan, and Clonguish have possession back. Paddy Dowd in possession over on the far side. Still Paddy, he's very, very clever as Paddy steps around his marker, gives it inside towards Luke McGuinness. Luke plays it back outside towards Pádraig Riley, and Riley kicks it straight out over the line. In fact, it's taken a deflection. It'll be a line ball for Clonguish. 8 points to a goal. Ballymahon have just scored once in this county final, and we have had over 10 minutes of this second half, and Ballymahon certainly have played good football since half time. The game has improved from their point of view, but overall still another poor final in Longford. They've been watched this afternoon by about 2,500 people in Pearse Park. Ballymahon have possession back. I think it's Alan Hudson back helping out his defence. Now with Ken Cooney. The ball has gone out over the line once more, and this time it takes a deflection off a Clonguish player, that player Paul Barden, and it will be a line ball to Ballymahon, who are struggling to get the ball out of their own defence in the early stages of this second half. Here's Paddy Dowd once more. Great performance from Paddy so far this afternoon. Inside to Luke McGuinness. McGuinness to Paddy Dowd once more. Paddy, the number 8 for Clonguish, plays a lovely ball inside to Joseph O'Brien, who gets there ahead of his marker. Still Joseph O'Brien, he's got support inside if he wants it. He's lost possession. Ballymahon win it back, and almost as soon as they win it back, they give it back to Clonguish. Paddy Dowd plays the ball inside, but that's a little bit speculative, and it's won back by Mark Lennon, and Mark can work this one away from goal. Long high clearance once more. Again, it's won back by Clonguish. Gerard O'Malley plays it inside towards John Dowd. John Dowd again in towards the number 19, that's Pádraig Cooney, but Cooney's ball inside is cut out by Ballymahon and cut out by Robbie Forbes. It's now with Ken Cooney for Ballymahon. The champions need to get going in the next couple of minutes, or they could see the Connolly Cup slipping from their grasp, and certainly they were very grateful to take it last year. So far this afternoon they haven't played at all. Here's Cathal Nally. Good ball from Cathal Nally, but in fact too much venom on that one. I think it's going to go out over the line. It might be kept in play by Trevor Smullen, but it's gone out over the line, and Clonguish have a line ball. We have a little bit over 17 minutes to go in this match, Dennis. Come back. 8 points to a goal in favour of Clonguish. And a line ball for the Clonguish men, who are warming up their number 18. That's Collie Clark. He came on in the drawn match. Looks like he's going to come on again this afternoon. And I think it could be Luke McGuinness who is going off the Clonguish team. Indeed it is. The number 10 makes way. And Collie Clark is in at wing half forward for the Clonguish men. The wind has died down somewhat in this second half. That will suit Clonguish, no doubt about it. Here come Ballymahon, however. John O'Callaghan has been fouled, wants to take the free kick quickly, takes it over towards Noel Grehan. Grehan inside to Trevor Smullen. Smullen turns and Smullen shoots, and Martin McHugh comes off his goal and drops the ball, but gets it at the second attempt and works it outside towards Thomas O'Malley. Gerard O'Malley, long clearance from him, held by Ken Cooney. Cooney's got support inside. It's John O'Callaghan. John O'Callaghan for Ballymahon plays it into the danger area, but a foul inside there on Noel Grehan. It will be a free to Ballymahon, and it will be taken by Frankie Dolan, I'm sure. And Ballymahon now looking to get back within 4 points of Clonguish. Just a little over 16 minutes remaining. Frankie's first chance of the second half, and indeed he scored. Yes, John, Frankie Dolan has just scored his first point of the afternoon, a pointed free for Ballymahon with 14 minutes gone in the second half, 16 to go, 44 on the watch. It's 8 points now to 1-1. That's Ballymahon's first point of this replayed county final. It's been a poor county final. We'll get the views of Dennis Connaughton in just a moment as Martin McHugh kicks out towards the middle of the field, knocked down by one Clonguish man to another, but a push in the back on John Dowd. Free kick to Clonguish will be taken by David Barden. 4 points between them. Remember, there were 3 between them at half time, and Clonguish expecting an onslaught from Ballymahon, but that hasn't been the case. Foul on Paul Barden. And Clonguish, Dennis, it must be said, playing really well since half time. The game has improved from their side at least, and they're looking good at this stage.
Yeah, they're looking very comfortable at the moment. Clonguish have a way better game plan than Ballymahon. They get a long ball into end of Barden, and it's much more simple, and it suits the conditions on today. It's dreadful conditions for playing football, and they're well able to end this one in a serious amount of ball in a full forward, and he's come very close to scoring there again now.
He certainly has. He's kicked it out to the left and wide, however. That's another wide for Clonguish. They've had more wides than Ballymahon as well, no doubt about that, and certainly they have been the dominant side here in this replay this afternoon, and they lead by 4 points with just 14 minutes to go. Fergal Kelly kicks out towards the 45 metre line. Up goes Trevor Smullen. He knows he's in a battle. He knows he's got to turn it on if Ballymahon are to win. Mark Lennon plays the ball inside towards Noel Grehan, who gets there first for Ballymahon. He's done very well all through this afternoon for Grehan, really living on scraps. That's not a good ball, however. It's won back by Enda Williams, who's done ever so well for Clonguish. Gets the ball back inside again towards David Barden. Barden towards Brendan Burke. Brendan Burke working it out towards Paul Barden, and now a chance for Barden to run at Ballymahon. He's been pursued by Edwin Nally, but very soon gets away from him. In fact, he doesn't get away from him. Nally has pulled and dragged on the jersey of Paul Barden. It'll be a free kick to Clonguish, and indeed Edwin Nally will have his name taken by the referee, Mickey Doherty. And Nally goes down to tie his shoelaces, but he hasn't been booked. He has been ticked by the referee, I do believe. There are 2 Ballymahon men down together tying their shoelaces, and when play resumes we'll have a free to Clonguish. Obviously these lads in no real hurry, even though they're 4 points in arrears. Paul Barden still not ready to take the kick. Ken Cooney is back up, his laces are tied, and Edwin Nally is still down, and now eventually he gets back up. It will be a free to Clonguish, which will be taken by Paul Barden. 13 minutes to go in Pearse Park. Clonguish leading by 4 points, but still very little between the sides on the scoreboard, just 4 points, and certainly Ballymahon will be thinking that they can close that gap between now and the end. Here's Paddy Dowd. Good ball inside from Paddy towards Joseph O'Brien. O'Brien has had a number of chances this afternoon, hasn't scored yet. Here's another chance for him. He looks up, he shoots, and it's gone out to the right, but it's not gone wide. It's kept in play by Ken Lovell, and that's a third or fourth opportunity for Joseph O'Brien. Poor clearance by Ken Lovell. A chance for Paul Barden to run again at the Ballymahon defence. Still Paul Barden lets the ball drop, gets it back up into his hands, looks for support. Good ball across towards the Clonguish number 5, Porrick Riley. Dangerous ball in. Joseph O'Brien gets there for Clonguish. He's won oodles of possession. He's inside. Joseph O'Brien, and he fists it over the bar. I suppose that score was coming for some time from Joseph O'Brien. Dennis Connaughton, it's his 4th or 5th chance of the afternoon, and eventually he's come good.
Yeah, it's a very clever score by Joseph. He turned his man very well and fisted over the bar from an acute angle. That's a good score. Clonguish are way superior to Ballymahon on the day today. It's a major surprise.
It certainly is. It's a major surprise that Ballymahon really have offered very little by way of a challenge so far, but there's still 13 minutes to go, perhaps a little bit less. Clonguish have possession, however, once more. John Dowd has done very well at midfield for Clonguish as well this afternoon, alongside his brother Paddy. Inside to Collie Clark. Clark on the overlap is the number 5, Porrick Riley. Riley puts one across the danger area. Dangerous looking ball. Held, is it? No, it's not. It's gone out over the end line, and it's gone out wide. Joseph, in fact, it was the number 13, David Quinn, who thought that the last touch had come off Ballymahon's Cathal Nally, but in any case, it's gone out wide. It's a goal kick to Ballymahon, and indeed Fergal Kelly will take this kick. There is 5 points between them. Clonguish 9 points, Ballymahon 1-1. Clonguish are looking good for their first county senior success since 1981. It's a wait of 22 years for Clonguish. Ballymahon, of course, who waited forever until last year, indeed have a lot of work to do. They've introduced the number 18, John Lennon. He got their saving score the last day, their injury time equaliser. Indeed, it came after 5 minutes of injury time. And John Lennon is in. Not sure who has gone off. Alan Hudson, the centre half forward for Ballymahon, has been taken ashore, and Fergal Kelly will take this kick out for Ballymahon. Again, John Dowd, superior fielding from the big Clonguish man. The number 14, David Barden, has it now. The number 12 for Clonguish. Still David Barden racing at the defence. Back to Collie Clark. Clonguish looking for a score that will put them 6 in front. The Barden kicks, and it's blocked down, and that was a good chance for Clonguish. And Ken Cooney has it back for Ballymahon. Again, a poor ball from Ken, but it's cleared inside, or gathered inside, I should say, by Gavin Dooley, who's been fouled. It will be a free to Ballymahon, and Gavin Dooley wanting to take it quickly, but in the end Ken Cooney just swipes the ball from him. It'll be a free to Ballymahon. We have just 11 minutes of the action remaining here in Pearse Park this afternoon. John O'Callaghan, Ballymahon's number 9 and midfielder, plays it inside to Ken Cooney, the centre half back and captain. Cooney racing forward. He knows that Ballymahon really need to get a couple of scores and get them very quickly. They have very little time left, under 10 minutes in fact. Ken Cooney kicks it inside, but again good defending from Clonguish, who have been equal to almost everything that Ballymahon have thrown at them this afternoon. However, a couple of defensive blunders in the first half almost cost them dearly. One did lead to a goal for Mark Connor, the other a good save from Martin McHugh from Trevor Smullen after a mistake on the goal line, I think, by Paddy Dowd. But other than that, really Clonguish have dealt very well in defence with Ballymahon, and they lead by 5 points. It's 9 points to Clonguish, 1 goal and 1 point to Ballymahon. And just about 9 minutes to go, and Martin McHugh comes way out from goal to take this kick for the Clonguish men. Again, it's a huge kick against the wind, but not held up as much by the wind as previous kicks. It's won by Mark Lennon. Mark Lennon lets it drop, but it's now with Trevor Smullen for Ballymahon. Trevor Smullen trying to play in John Lennon, but Lennon can't keep it in play. And really, Dennis, Ballymahon are very scrappy, very scattered, and one would suggest that Clonguish look really good enough to hold on at this stage.
Yeah, they're very comfortable looking. Ballymahon seem to lack energy or lack drive or lack passion today, which is very surprising, because they've shown that over the past 12 months that they were a very strong team, but they just seem to lack. There's no energy about them, no buzz about Ballymahon today. Just amazing. I'm very surprised at it.
Indeed, of course, when you win one championship, they say it's sweeter than the second one you'll win. Perhaps that's the case for Ballymahon this afternoon. They don't seem to be fired up as usual. The ball is thrown in, and it's won by Enda Barden for Clonguish. Collie Clark, the number 18, gives it back outside towards Enda Barden, the big full forward for Clonguish. He has a shot for a score. It's not going to go wide, it's not going to go over, and it's very well held by Fergal Kelly, who kept his eyes on that one, the Ballymahon goalkeeper. It's now with Ken Cooney. Cooney plays it out towards Trevor Smullen, but that really is appalling from the centre half back. He's kicked it straight out over the sideline. Line ball for Clonguish. Back in West Common again. Paul Barden takes the kick, caught by the wind. Brilliantly fielded by Enda Barden, who's been fouled, and it's a free to Clonguish. A little bit soft perhaps, But that could be the score that ensures victory for Clonguish. It'll put them 6 up with just 7 to go. Enda Barden fouled. Nine points to 1-1. This will put them 6 points clear. If Enda Barden can just pop it over the bar, I'm sure he'll do just that. 9 points to 1-1. And Enda Barden has been told to bring the ball in directly in front of the posts. It mightn't suit him as much perhaps as where he was previously located. But it's a free for Clonguish. And it's scored by Enda Barden. And with 6 minutes to go, it's now 6 points between the sides, and Ballymahon need a miracle here in Pearse Park. Fergal Kelly will take the kick out. The Ballymahon goalkeeper. Fergal Kelly kicks it out. Again, it's going to be won by Clonguish. John Dowd spreads it inside towards Thomas O'Malley. Porrick Cooney. Paddy Dowd. Yes, John and Clonguish leading by 6 points. 10 points to 1-1. Paddy Dowd in possession for the Clonguish men. He's lost possession, but Clonguish with a chance to win it back as Paul Barden scoots across, and what a pick up from Paul Barden. He's been flung to the ground by, I think it could have been Mark Lennon, and a free into Clonguish, and already the crowd beginning to leave Pearse Park. We've just 5 minutes to go here, and it's Clonguish who lead, as I said, by 10 points to 1-1. Great second half performance from them. They've outscored Ballymahon by 4 points to 1 since half time, and look good for glory as Collie Clark gets possession back outside towards Enda Barden, half blocked down. Barden's effort goes in towards his brother David. Will he get there? In fact he won't, and Ballymahon win it back. Robbie Forbes gets it inside towards Gavin Dooley, who's been fouled. 10 points to 1-1. Clonguish on the verge of winning their first county title since 1981. 22 years. A long wait for Clonguish. Brendan Burke plays it inside to Paddy Dowd. Paddy Dowd, who's done ever so well all through for Clonguish this afternoon. Porrick Cooney again playing it inside towards David Barden. Barden has got support, and Paddy Dowd, who's everywhere this afternoon for Clonguish. That's a super ball inside. Joseph O'Brien. Oh, he's left the ball behind him. Joseph had a great chance. He still should score. He's put it over the bar. 7 between them. It could and perhaps should have been a goal, but nonetheless Paddy Dowd's ball was just superb.
Yes, he's had a great game today. Clonguish are on top nearly in every position on the field today. You know, it's very, very easy for them, and they're well worthy of winning this game at the moment.
They certainly are, and indeed I think there could be somebody sent off. Edwin Nally has been sent off the Ballymahon team for a foul on a Clonguish man who's down on the ground. I'm not sure who it is. I think it could be David Barden who's on the ground. And Ballymahon down to 14 men. Edwin Nally sent off, obviously striking the Clonguish man. Didn't see what happened, but Ballymahon down to 14 men, down by 7 points. They've only scored twice this afternoon, 11 scores to 2. That tells the story, Dennis.
That really does. You know, it's been a great performance by Clonguish, and they must have worked hard in the past 2 weeks. They have the very simple game plan, but the game plan is working. Enda Barden's a full forward. They're getting the ball in very quickly to him, and their defence has been outstanding today. You know, Ballymahon have only got 2 scores, and one of those is from a free, so that just shows how good their defence has been today. And 2 Dowds in midfield have been a revelation. John Dowd has worked his socks off today for the cause of Clonguish football, and his brother is a revelation in midfield. You know, he's a really super player,
and indeed will be in the hunt, I'm sure, alongside Enda Barden for man of the match.
Definitely. Yeah, at this stage, you're looking at it, there's 15 Clonguish men out there you could say could give man of the match to. They're all so good today.
Certainly are, and indeed somebody said in recent years that just a break and play while David Barden receives attention, but somebody said in recent years that this Clonguish side, if they ever got their act together and won one championship, it'd be very difficult to stop for maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they're very young. It's a very young team. There's nobody old in that team, and of course, as we mentioned before the match, Clonguish is on a high at the moment. They're winning so many competitions this year. I think the last club to do that was on for Slashers, which many years ago, but they're really on a high, and they've carried us into the game. We thought that the weather might dampen their spirits, but that hasn't happened. They've been up for this game from the word go, and they very much deserve to be in the lead by now.
They certainly do, and the lead is putting it mildly. They're miles in front, 7 points in front, 11 points to 1-1, and they have possession again, and Paul Barton plays it in toward Collie Clark. Racing across the centre to look for possession is David Quinn, but it's back with Paul Barton, who looks up and shoots, and he's put it out to the left. Has it gone wide? Not yet. In fact, the wind has prevented it, but eventually it does go wide, and it's a goal kick for Ballymahon. And indeed, the referee not happy with that goal kick, which was taken too quickly. There's a couple of substitutes coming on for Ballymahon. Collie Ball is coming in, the number 20 for Ballymahon, to replace number 17 Noel Grehan, who in fairness to Noel has been one of the better Ballymahon forwards this afternoon. But Noel Grehan goes off, Collie Ball comes in. Indeed, if we look at some of the other Ballymahon forwards, certainly Grehan will feel a little bit hard done by. Again, it's fielded by John Dowd, who's really done very well this afternoon. The kick from Dowd is not a good one. It's gone way out left and wide, about 30 yards perhaps to the left of goal. But the man of the match, it's a tough call, Dennis. Who would you give it to?
It's a tough call. Anybody in defence could get it. The defence has been so strong today. I've been very impressed with young Paddy Dowd, for playing in his first year as senior football here. He's been outstanding. Enda Barden, of course, at full forward, has made a massive contribution. Enda got a lot of stick after his performance last day, but the big game was here today, and Enda was a very big man for it as well. So they'll definitely be in contention for it. But as I said earlier on, all the Clonguish players today have really, have given a great performance, and they're well worthy of winning their first county final. I think it is since 1981. They've been outstanding today.
They certainly have. So we'll wait and see who gets the man of the match. But it's not over yet. Remember, there are still a couple of minutes. In fact, 5 in all. In fact, 3 in all, I should say. 3 minutes of stoppage time, which we have just entered. And Ballymahon go on the attack. If they got a couple of quick goals, one never knows. But not like that. The ball has gone out left and wide. It'll be a goal kick to Clonguish, and it'll be taken by Martin McHugh. By my watch, we have now just entered stoppage time. So 3 minutes between Clonguish winning their first title in 22 years. The ball is kicked out by Martin McHugh. They thought they'd have a 21st anniversary celebration last year when they were in the final against Ballymahon, and Ballymahon really played well that day to win the title. But this afternoon there's been no doubting the superiority of this Clonguish side, who lead by 7 points. Dangerous looking ball inside again, but Martin McHugh, the clever Martin McHugh, lets that one out over the end line and wide. It will be a goal kick once more. 2 wides in quick succession for Ballymahon. Martin McHugh in absolutely no hurry to take the kick. We are almost the first minute of stoppage time is almost up, so there should only be about 2 minutes to go here in Pearse Park. So do stay with us if you can, John, for the climax of this 2003 Parkhouse Hotel Longford Senior Football Championship. And indeed, Clonguish is the newest name that will go on to that cup. They're on it a number of times already. Indeed, back in the 60s, they had one of the greatest Longford club teams of all time, winning 4 in a row in the Longford Championship. But certainly in recent times, in the last 20 years or so, no young blood in the club. But it's all there now to be seen by everybody this afternoon. A fine performance by Clonguish, who lead still by 7 points. The goal kick will be taken by Martin McHugh. Plenty of stoppages in this game. It's been stop-start, it's been scrappy, but most of the good football, it must be said, has been played by Clonguish. In fact, Ballymahon not adjusting to the conditions at all. I spoke to one of the Ballymahon selectors, Pat O'Toole, before the game, and I said to him that Ballymahon haven't played in any wet conditions in the last 2 years in the championship, and how would they adapt to that? They haven't adapted well, Dennis.
No, they haven't adjusted to it at all today. But Ballymahon have been flat from the word go today. They got a goal in the first half from a mistake in the Clonguish defence, but they have been really flat, and that's one of the things that has shocked everybody today, how flat they have been. They don't seem to have the hunger for the game at all. Clonguish are a far more eager team, and generally in finals like this, they are decided by the team that has the greater hunger and passion for the game.
It's a line ball to Ballymahon over on the far side. Paul Barden a little bit slow to give the ball back, and Mark Lennon trying to snap it from his grasp, and the kick is taken eventually. Mark Lennon will float one in towards the edge of the small square, but again John Dowd, another candidate for man of the match, who's won so much possession for Clonguish this afternoon, and perhaps in future you'll see more of John Dowd at midfield rather than at full forward, and indeed more of Enda Barden at full forward rather than at midfield. That was a wonder switch from Michael McCormick before the start of this afternoon's game. Clonguish leading still by 7 points, 11 points to 1-1. We haven't had a score in the last 6.5-7 minutes. Time is almost up, and very, very shortly we will be hearing the final whistle from referee Mick Doherty. Clonguish winning the championship for the first time in 22 years. Ballymahon still have possession, however. They're at number 20. Is Colin Ball. He's gone to ground. He's been penalised for over-carrying, perhaps, by the referee Mick Doherty. Free to Clonguish, which Paul Barden takes, and takes it quickly towards Brendan Burke. The number 2 is only 45 metres out from goal. Plays a good ball into Joe O'Brien, another player who's done well in the second half. Joe O'Brien looks up and kicks, and that one has gone out to the right, and it has gone wide. And indeed, the wind has died down markedly in this second half. And certainly that helped Joe O'Brien with his latest effort on goal, but it did go out to the right and it did go wide. Ballymahon, again, they lose possession. They just haven't coped with the conditions this afternoon. The county champions, their reign as county champions, will be coming to an end very, very shortly indeed. Mickey Doherty looks at the watch once more. There is the final whistle. And I suppose on the day there was no doubting that Clonguish were the better side. 11 points to 1-1 the final score. We'll just get a final comment from Dennis before we go back to Roscommon. Nobody will argue with that one.
No, they're very worthy champions. It's been a great performance by Clonguish. They were by far the better team on the day. Ballymahon didn't adjust to the conditions at all, which was a major surprise. But it's just a great achievement for the Clonguish team, and Mick McCormick will be a very happy man tonight because his game plan has worked so well for him today. And all I can say is well done to Clonguish. It was a great performance by them.
It certainly was, and there we shall leave it from Pearse Park. Let's get back to Roscommon. Clonguish are the champions in Longford. Clonguish 11 points. Ballymahon, disappointing Ballymahon, 1-1, John.
Just on behalf of Longford County Board, it gives me great pleasure to congratulate both teams on two excellent games of football. Maybe you put your hands together for both teams, Ballymahon and Clonguish. Over the last 12 been very, very worthy champions for Longford and have carried the banner very well. It was their first success, and I think it was a great tribute to them that they got into the final again this year, and perhaps were only picked today on the second day. So I think a round of applause for Ballymahon over the last 12 months. At this stage, I would like to congratulate all the referees that refereed this year's senior championship. And at this stage, I will now call upon the match referee, Mickey Doherty, to accept his referee's medal.
Come on, Clonguish!
Tommy Donoghue there. I'd also call upon the referee of the drawn game, Tommy Donoghue, to accept his medal as well. See there. Let's go, lads! Just at this stage, there's a number of people I would like to thank. Obviously, the ground staff, Jimmy McDonald, Nell Hart, and all the people that have been working here on the FOSS scheme over the last 12 months. I think that they did a great job. The pitch was in excellent condition. So well done to all the ground staff involved here in Pierce Park today. It has been an absolutely marvellous year for the Clonguish club. Yeah! Went along a week later and they lifted the junior. Another week later they lifted the senior. And now today, I think the icing is on the cake because the Sean Connolly is going to Clonguish for the first. The tragic circumstances that happened here today at half-time have somewhat muted the celebrations. But I think each and every one of us should pay our respects and pay a tribute to the Prunty family. It's been a very, very difficult year, and obviously I know our hearts go out to each and every one, and indeed to all Clonguish Gaels on this very, very sad occasion for the Prunty family. And I feel that I couldn't let the thing go without mentioning it. But in saying that, I have now great pleasure at this stage to call upon the first Clonguish captain since 1988. And at this stage, I will now call upon the captain of Clonguish.
Clonguish manager Michael McCormick, of course you've played in county finals before, you've won them, you've lost them as a manager, and at last now you've won one as a manager. A great feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, Benny, to go today and win. You know, we were up against it, and probably nobody in the county was giving us much of a chance this morning. Even I was coming down from Monaghan and I got phone calls saying, you know, that all the money was on Ballymahon and nobody was back in Clonguish. But you know, the players, it does the talking. You know, you've been on about managers and selectors. At the end of the day, the players do the talking, and the players done the talking for Clonguish today. They went out and they showed what they were made of. You know, they stood up and were counted, and they gave a tremendous performance.
It was a great team performance, as mentioned earlier. 1 to 15, all played well. The work rate was immense. Few outstanding players, I suppose, stood out above the rest. But from 1 to 15, you were fantastic.
Yeah, we knew that. We had a meeting last night, and we knew ourselves, and the players knew themselves, and there had to be very little told to them. They knew themselves that to beat Ballymahon, they would have to work very, very hard. Ballymahon are no bad team. They showed last year, and they showed all this year as well in the championship. They're drawn games, and they came back and won games. And you know, if we didn't work hard against them today, the team that worked the hardest today was going to win. And Clonguish went out and they decided they were going to work. And you know, if we had to stay till 7 o'clock tonight, we'd have still won the championship.
And indeed, one of the main differences from last year was that you had 3 minors to call on this year: Joe O'Brien, Enda Williams and Paddy Dowd, and all 3 were very impressive this afternoon at various stages in this final.
That's right. Our panel got very built up a strong panel this year. Actually, there was times with 45 training out in the field out in Newtown, and they'll have to get to a few more fields if they're going to continue the big numbers like that. But them 3 minors have made a big difference. They've come in here and they're experienced players. They've played at the top level. They played in the Leinster final and have championship medals. And they've added a great guides to the team, and the team has improved immensely with them. And they were stood up today, and by looking at them today, you wouldn't know that they were just minors.
And finally, Michael, I suppose it would be fair to say after winning one, Clonguish will be very difficult to beat in 2004 and indeed in subsequent years. It's a great team, but it's also a very young team.
It's a very young team. Even I don't know who the oldest man in the Barden is. Probably the oldest man on the team, and he's still young. And there's a big future for him. And he showed today playing at full forward that he can, he'll damage any team in the county or even in Leinster. And hopefully we can go a bit in Leinster. But there's a big future for this team, and hopefully if they stay together and keep working, it's no good just we'll celebrate this week and they'll have to sit down and look at next year and plan ahead. But there is a big future for this team.
And a few orange juices in Casey's tonight.
There might be a few orange juices, but you'll have to pay for them yourself. Casey will give you nothing for nothing.
Yes, I'm joined by the Clonguish captain, Enda Barden. Enda, that's a great day for Clonguish.
Super day, brilliant day. We were never going to lose this game. We were in for this no matter what it took to win this game today.
22 years is a long wait. You were only 7 when Clonguish won the championship last in 1981. I'm sure you have memories of that. Last year you thought you perhaps would have done it, but I suppose sweet revenge this afternoon against Ballymahon.
It's just unbelievable. It's great to win. It's just great to win. We knew we let it slip last year, and we just could not go out there today and lose.
You had some great performers: Enda Williams, Joe O'Brien and Paddy Dowd, minors of last year. Certainly made a huge difference to this year's team.
They did, surely, yeah, but I think the full 15 today really got stuck in from the start and really played their heart out, and lads came on, did on the job, and that's what they were there for.
I was talking to Michael McCormick and he said the work rate from all 15 was immense, and if you want to win it you have to be the more hungry team, and there was no doubt who was the more hungry this afternoon.
Yeah, we were hungry from the start. We dogged them over and we got stuck in. That's what we were there for.
And no doubt the celebrations will begin in earnest. It's been a huge year for Clonguish. I know you have the Leinster Championship to look forward to on the 26th of October, but certainly celebrations just beginning, I suppose.
We'll celebrate first. We'll worry with Leinster Championship next week.
Clonguish team member Enda Williams, Leinster champions last year, Longford captain this year, club championship with your club. It's really been a great 12 months or so for you, but it's a great day for Clonguish.
Oh, it's an unbelievable day for Clonguish. We train and train and train. This time last year we were coming out of the dress rooms, it was like the world was going to end, and it's amazing how a year goes. This time this year now we're walking out, and it's very hard to describe how we're feeling now. It's unbelievable.
Well, obviously mixed emotions with the sad news that you would have received with regard to Seamus Prunty's father, but nonetheless, this is 22 years of waiting. You weren't born the last time Clonguish won the championship, so you don't know what it's like, but I'm sure it means a hell of a lot to the people of Newtown Forbes.
It means, you don't know what it means, because when I was coming off the pitch there, seeing past people crying, it meant so much to them, and Pat Burke and people like that the whole club, the football in this club means everything to them, and they were coming off the field crying, and they're showing me deepest respects to the Prunty family. But it's unbelievable for them boys when they come off the field there and they were all crying. It's just great that you can do something like that for them men. Like, it's unbelievable when they put everything into it and you can give it back to them by winning the Connolly Cup. It's unbelievable.
That was a great performance from Clonguish this afternoon. Not just a few players, which normally is the case, but every player on Clonguish really played their part today.
Today was a 30-man team from start to finish. We came in here today, and today was a matter of life and death. We were not going to come out of this dressing room today without the Connolly Cup, and that was from Martin McHugh to number 30 on the programme, whoever that was. It's about everybody, and we done it as a unit, and we were not coming out there today without the Connolly Cup, and we got it. That's all that matters now.
And finally, that's the first senior championship in 22 years. I'm sure it won't be 22 years you're hoping before you win another one.
No, well, it won't be, hopefully, but we'll worry about that in another day. Hopefully, no, it won't happen again.
Thanks indeed, Enda.
Right on lap now.
Clonguish goalkeeper Martin McHugh, you've been there before, even at a higher level than this. You've won a Connacht championship with Leitrim. But with your adopted club, Clonguish, how does it feel to win the Connolly Cup, the Longford Championship?
I feel great for myself because I'm a long time playing football and been involved with the clubs in Clonguish, and we're only Division 2. This is senior football and it's a faster, harder game. But I've lived in the parish for the last 12 years now and been knocking on the door, asking me to join them and all that. But I found it hard to leave my own club. But when I made the step this year, I worked hard, and they're working hard, it paid dividends, and you see by today's result.
You could be the good luck charm. Clonguish didn't win it last year. You weren't there, but you were there this year. And no doubt about it, apart from yourself, there were 14 others, or indeed 16 others today that played their part.
I was more than 16. You're talking about a whole panel, and even people in the parish as well. I mean, whenever we're down training, there's people on the sideline just watching us train, all that, you know. And like when we work hard, and we knew from the start of January that we had an aim, and that aim was to win today.
It's a huge community at Newtown Forbes. It's a great spirited community. They get behind the team in all competitions. They've had great success this year, and I'm sure you owe a lot to the supporters because they're absolutely fantastic.
Well, that's where it starts. I mean, the teams that won the minor championship and the juvenile and the hurlers, and even today, it's down to the support we're getting. I mean, there's no point going out to the game and having 10-20 people behind the wire. There's countless people come to watch us support, and not just Clonguish. I mean, there's people in neighbouring parishes as well who come out and they shake hands with you and wish you the best luck and all that. And that was very evident today as well. So it was. They just come in and just congratulate us after the whole lot.
And finally, you've won a Connacht Senior Medal with Leitrim in '94. Wouldn't it be lovely to win a Leinster Club Medal with Clonguish in 2004?
Now we'll take one game at a time, Manny, but winning today now is a big step for me personally, but I say for the club as well. But we take each game as it comes. We still have to work hard and harder again for each game, and if we get to a Leinster final, we'll take from there then.
And there's life in the old dog yet.
No, you're never old. You're only as old as you feel. That's it, Vinny.
Thanks, Martin. Clonguish Chairman Thomas Casey, that's a great day for Clonguish. It's been a great year, but today really crowns it off.
Well, as I said the other day when I was talking to Seamus Duke, I said we had a couple of cups, but the icing on the cake had to be Sean Connolly, and Sean Connolly come today, and all I can say is Sean Connolly is home.
And indeed, long overdue. 22 years, a long time to wait for him.
22 years, yes, it's a long time, which is worth waiting for. It's a sweet victory, so it is, especially when we had to take a second bite of the cherry. So we felt we might have left it behind us here the last day, so we did, the way things worked out. And I have to say, from number 1 out to 15, and the lads that come on and everything, just they put in a horrendous effort there today to win that game, and we never looked like being beaten. I don't think after half time everything just went in our favour, and that was it. And we played some super football, I thought, today.
You said it was a second bite of the cherry. Many will argue it was a third bite, because last year, I suppose, after looking like winning for long periods, Ballymahon finished strongly. You made sure that there was no doubt about it today.
Well, last year, I suppose we felt last year that we just let it slip in the last 10 minutes of the game, so I did last year. And I would hope that boys have learned an awful lot from, because we learned from last year. We learned on the line, and we hope the boys learn on the face to realise what had to be done to win a championship, and they proved it out there today what had to be done to win a championship.
And Thomas is a great community in Newtown Forbes. They have had plenty to celebrate in 2003, but certainly this, I suppose, in a lot of ways is for them, isn't it?
Oh yes, we're a great community in Newtown Forbes. We have a great minor set up in Newtown Forbes, so we have, and it's coming through. You can see the young lads out there today, Andy Williams, Joe O'Brien, so as all them lads, underage structure is coming through, starting to filter through, and hopefully we look to the next 5 to 10 years of maybe not winning the championship every year, but being there or thereabouts every year with good football and team. So.
And I remember last year talking to Pat O'Brien before the final, and he said if Clonguish win 1, they'll perhaps go on and win 3, 4, maybe 5 senior championship. That team is not finished this afternoon. It's a young team, and I'm sure there's more Connolly Cups to be had in the next 3 or 4 years.
I'd like to think there'll be more Connolly Cups in the next 3 or 4 years, but I'll tell you one thing. When you're on the line, it's hard work, so it is, and it's hard work to get boys motivated again to do it. And we done it this year for the second year on the trot, and we'll give it a shot next year. So whoever is there, so we'll give it a shot. And as I said, them young lads is all coming in, and it's there for us if we want the hunger to go and take it. So it is, and it's up to the boys themselves if they want to do it. Some of the old fellas might think they've done it now, they've got their championship medal, they might think it's time they're retired. So it is, and I hope they don't, because for the future of Clonguish football, them old heads needs to stay and steer the young heads through for the next couple of years.
And finally, before I let you go, you must be very proud being chairman of Clonguish on this very special day.
I'm the proudest man on this planet, so I am at the moment here today, I can tell you that, because somebody said to me coming into the park today, Casey, you're a lucky old chairman. And I said, right, well, I hope I am. I says, and I hope the luck stays with me today, and it did stay with me today. And you make your own luck, Benny. You make your own luck, and I felt we we made our own look out there today. So with the effort we put in, and like, what can I say? You know, I'm really struck for words because it's just, it hasn't sunk in yet. So it hasn't sunk in yet that we have actually won the Conley Cup after 22 years. I played in 1981, so I did, and I can tell you it's been a long time standing that hill out there, looking in, wondering when we were going to do it, standing on the line for the last 2 years, wishing, thinking, hoping everything will go right for us. And by God, I tell you, today it went right for us, and it's probably the first game of the championship that went what you call 100% right for us today. But when it went right, it was sweet.
Well done, and continued success to Clonguish.
Thanks very much, Billy. God bless you.
Clonguish Secretary Michael Mulvey. Michael, it's 22 years since Clonguish won the championship. It's been a long wait, but it's been worthwhile.
It has been, yeah, very much worthwhile. There's been a lot of work done over the last 20 years, and especially over the last 12 when we come up from Division 4 in 1992, won the Junior Championship and then up to Intermediate Championship. There was a lot of work done there, and an awful lot of people have to be thanked over them few years when we were very low, and fellas dug in, fellas that weren't here today, they're immigrated and everything, but they'll know the score tonight, and Clonguish will be thankful for them fellas to keeping the green and white going when the times were bad.
And indeed the underage structures at the club are fantastic, Michael, and indeed I suppose 20 years ago there wasn't as much emphasis on the youth. Now there is, because people know how important it is, and in Clonguish it's working well.
It's working very well because we have a lot of very interested parents for one, and lads are very interested, and ladies are very interested in the underage structure, and to bring them to training on the mornings and the evenings and bring them to matches. 20 years ago, I suppose you're right that excuse me, the emphasis wasn't in it. The senior team was going well then, and you get one or two off the minor panel that time and it would do you. Then that all dried up. There wasn't interest put into the youngsters at that particular time, but then with Dennis Quinn in them times, interest in the youth, he was a main driving force in getting that started. And then with the coaching that has come in the last 10 years, we were very interested in, and we had a lot of people at the beginning of coaching and going around to the clubs getting the coaching in situ for the county, and we have reaped the benefits of it because we understood what the benefits would be for the club. And the youth is very well looked after at the moment by the likes of Fergus Darcy, Pat O'Brien, Noel Daly, but Liam Madden especially back at the school level, where he gets he used to get very little help. Now he does get help, and he has put in a atrocious amount of work, and he loves the club as much as anybody does, and in the school is where it starts, and we hope to be back in the school tomorrow to talk to some of the youngsters again as we did in 1981, and some of them even here today says to me, remember when you come into the school after winning the championship in 81, and I'm proud to be able to hear that after 22 years that they remember that. So I hope the children that we talk to tomorrow will remember that in 20 years' time.
You're the secretary of the club, Michael, so obviously it's been a very busy year for you with all these successes. I suppose you're hoping to be as busy next year, but for this year it's been absolutely outstanding. Not just the senior championship, many more titles.
No, it has been an unbelievable year. We never thought about the amount of finals that we could have been in, but once it started to roll, there was a roll in the club at the time, and an invincibility, and that means smart, or cocky, but the minor team started it off. They were invincible in our eyes, that we knew they could go out and win it, but they had to go out and win it. And fairness to Dennis Quinn and James Gregg, their biggest job that they had to do this year was to keep them fellas on the ground. They were good lads, well able to play football, but they had to go out and win it. Many a team in the last few years came up into a minor final and balked it on the day, but Clonguish had to keep their feet on the ground and do it. The same with the junior. At the beginning of the year, we didn't part, we put in for a junior championship. We then, about 6 weeks before it, we decided, the junior championship is coming up, we must look at the panel. So we got a panel together, and then we got the three lads, Liam Flynn, Pat Burke and Mick McKeown, and they took that over. Then the minors come on stream. We didn't want to use the minors as much because they were still in the minor championship, but when they were needed they were put in, and them boys really joined the junior championship for that, close with the other lads compared to what we went out last year in the junior championship. The full forward line was something like 150 years old, and I wasn't playing. But then the whole team, then Clonguish winning the hurling championship for the first time, the first final, and again like Noel Daly and John Finucane, you know them well, the interest and the love of the game that they have in hurling kept on that side. And then be grateful to the lads that don't actually play football, that they put in the effort, they love the hurling, and that was great for them. And same with the underage structure in hurling. They have won 3 under-21 titles in the hurling in the last 3 or 4 years. But the main one, if we didn't win today, I think it would have been, there would have been a bit of, I won't say a sour taste, but it wouldn't have been fulfilled. We have fulfilled a historic day today, and I am proud again to be a part of it. As long as I won't know about this until a few days, because until it sinks in. It is mighty, and I know it's a cliche that it hasn't sunk in, but it hasn't. There's people going around here today that I haven't seen in years, shaking hands, hugging and everything, and that's what it does to the parish. It is a mighty feeling. There's young lads who have been telling them for 20 years about it, and today they can come over to me, and fair play to them, they come over and it says, we didn't understand it till today. We went in after winning the under 21 championship 2-3 years ago, and he says, put all the championships that we have won in the last 5 or 6 years, and it mean nothing to you until you win the senior championship. They've come to me and says, now I have the same as you've got to say to me today. You know, but they have that, and them boys now are standalone. Them fellas are comrades for life, as you know yourself. But in any senior championship team, they're comrades for life, and they want to get into a band. They're in a band of their own now. So they are.
And just finally, of course, there's always some sad news, and today it was particularly sad for Clonguish. Seamus Prunty was taken off during the first half. At that stage, his father had passed away, and I suppose it really put football into perspective, Michael.
It really did put football in perspective. A day like today, a biggest day in the parish history, but then with the loss of a father, one of our players, is immense, and especially to the Prunty family after their losses during this year and last year. It's unbelievable that somebody could be struck with so much tragedy in just a short time and a young life. And the lads at half time didn't know the seriousness of it, but they were told to go out and win it for Shameen anyway. And God rest Tommy, I'd say he's a proud man up there now, and he can take he gave some inspiration again today for Clonguish to do that. The spur, when we went out in the second half, there was nobody going to be us. I didn't give a damn who they were. There was nobody going to be us. We had that feeling, leaving that dressing room there, that they couldn't get out quick enough. They couldn't get out the door. And they'd walk across anybody. No tunnel incident, but they'd walk across them. They wouldn't see anybody. And it has been a great year, as you say, disappointing this evening. Our sympathies go to the Prunty family, especially to Shameen. And as a mark of respect, we are not going to be triumphant down through the village tonight. And we'll go down up to Sashers now, and we'll have a meal, and we'll take it from there, and a few quiet drinks tonight, and hopefully we'll get out to the Prunty family to sympathise.